You're watching News Central now. I'm Darshan Usman. Top stories at this hour. President Tinubu orders CBN to suspend cybersecurity levy implementation. Police arrest prominent lawyer critical of Tunisian president. Burundi accuses Rwanda of being responsible for Friday's twin blast. Details of these stories and more shortly. Let's begin the news at this hour by telling you that President Bola Tinubu has asked the Central Bank of Nigeria to suspend the implementation of the controversial cybersecurity levy policy and ordered a review. This followed the decision of the House of Representatives, which last Thursday asked the president, that's the CBN, to withdraw its circular directing all banks to commence charging a 0.5% cybersecurity levy on all electronic transactions in the country. The CBN on May 6, 2024, issued a circular mandating all banks, mobile money operators, and payment service providers to implement a new cybersecurity levy following the provisions laid out in the Cybercrime Prohibition Prevention Amendment Act 2024. According to the Act, a levy amounting to 0.5% of the value of all electronic transactions will be collected and remitted to the National Cybersecurity Fund, overseen by the Office of the National Security Advisor. The federal government is poised to receive fresh loan funding from the World Bank, with approval expected for loans totaling $2.25 billion on June 13, 2024. The funding will be received via two major development projects. The first project is the Nigeria Reforms for Economic Stabilization to Enable Transformation Development Policy Financing, which is set to receive $1.5 billion. The second project, NG Accelerating Resource Mobilization Reforms Program for Results, has proposed funding of $750 million. There had been earlier reports that indicated that the government might reintroduce previously suspended telecom tax and other fiscal measures in pursuit of securing the $750 million loan. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has stopped dollar transactions at foreign embassies in Nigeria. The anti-graft agency said that the Nigerian local currency should be the only legal tender for transactions at foreign embassies. There are indications that the Commission sent an advisory to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs stating that all transactions at foreign missions should be conducted in Naira. The Commission explained that the directive is part of efforts to strengthen the Naira. The value of the Naira dipped from around 700 Naira per dollar to around 1,400 Naira per dollar in the last 1 year since the collapse of the foreign exchange windows by the President Bola Tinubu administration, I beg your pardon. Now, in politics, former national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Prince Uche Secondus, has accused the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, of being the mastermind of the current charged political atmosphere in Rivers State. The former PDP national chairman made the accusation on the heels of Wike's incessant feud with the Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara, saying the FCT minister had been demarketing the state because Governor Fubara had blocked all loopholes that could grant him access to the revenues in the coffers of Rivers State. Secondus alleged that Wike had instructed his aides and political associates to continuously malign and sabotage the peace, progress and prosperity of Rivers State by ceaselessly attacking Governor Fubara and other leaders of the state in the media. Barely 2 months to the local government election in Delta State, southern Nigeria political parties are already strategizing on how to have a good outing during the poll. News Central correspondent Austin Azu completes the story.
The Delta State Independent Electoral Commission, after meeting with the various stakeholders and political parties in Asaba, the Delta State capital, announced the dates for the local government elections. Chairman of Labour Party in the South-South geopolitical zone is optimistic about his party's readiness for the polls. He He said the party has resolved to contest the 25 LGAs and 500 councillor seats across the states. These councillorship aspirants on the platform of the Labour Party called on the state electoral umpire to be upright in all the electionary processes. They demand a level playing ground for all parties to exercise their franchise.
So I don't think we are going to say because the right result that we're not going to contest the election. No. Our candidates will go for the elections. We're already doing what we're supposed to be doing. Bringing our candidates up very soon. We'll start having our primaries and definitely we'll put our candidates out to contest for the local government elections.
So this should please give us a free and fair election which will help the people.
I'm not saying PDP should not win. I'm not saying APC should not win. But what I'm trying to say, a level playground. Our amiable governor, please don't be a dictator nor a tyrant to mold this political system. Remember, if you do, your second tenure will be at stake.
Meanwhile, the chairman of PDP in the state has unveiled the party's timetable for the election with assurance of sweeping the polls.
We are prepared, we are willing, we are determined to ensure that we win all the available positions. Yes. If they are afraid that we're going to win and therefore they want to run away from contesting, they can run away. But whether we're going to defeat them, of course, the answer is yes, we're going to defeat them.
The state governor urged gender inclusiveness for the PDP by choosing their chairmanship and councillorship candidates.
I keep telling people that if you get chairman as a man, the vice should be a woman. Then also, in each of the local government, you must come with not less than 3 female as councillors.
All eyes are now on the Delta State Independent Electoral Commission to conduct free, fair and acceptable local government elections across the 25 local government areas in the states. In Asaba, for News Central, Austin Azul.
News Central now returns after the break. Stay with us. Some of the abducted students of Confluence University of Science and Technology, Osara Okene, in Kogi State have been rescued. Now, this was confirmed in a statement on Sunday by the Kogi State Commissioner for Information and Communication, Kingsley Fanwo. He said the students were rescued safely by local hunters and other security agents. He, however, did not disclose the exact number of students rescued. The commissioner said that the local vigilante men and security agents engaged the kidnappers in a fierce shootout, and the kidnappers succumbed to superior firepower and escaped with gun wounds. According to him, the kidnappers left the kidnapped students, who also ran in different directions, to avoid being caught in the fire exchange. Reports of a foreign military base being established in Nigeria to address Western Central Africa's security concerns have sparked a debate. However, both the Nigerian government and the United States have denied these claims. News Central's Niyi Omoni has more in this report.
As Western nations close bases and withdraw troops from former French colonies in Africa's Sahel region, speculations have mounted that they may seek new bases in neighboring Nigeria. The Nigerian government has firmly denied such discussions, with both Nigeria and American officials rejecting the notion.
The federal government of Nigeria has neither received any request to set up a military base, or is even contemplating setting up one. I don't know where it's coming from. We think that this is not factual, this is misleading, and this is not patriotic.
I'm not aware of any such conversation, and I'm not really sure whose purpose it serves to agitate on this point.
Despite deniers, the issue has sparked debate within Nigeria as the country faces ongoing threats from terrorist groups like Boko Haram and ISWAP in the Lake Chad region.
The risks are actually enormous. One is that there will be some strategic superpowers who are already making inroad into the Sahel. And then, of course, Nigeria becomes a country of interest. And if Nigeria becomes a country of interest, it means that there will be a resurgence of new groups, terrorist groups will be coming in. So Nigeria becomes a playground for sales of arms and ammunitions and small arms and light weapons.
However, Nigeria contends its current counterinsurgency efforts haven't necessitated foreign troops' presence.
A foreign military base will not do anything for us because we have already seen an example of what happened in Niger. Their presence have not made any difference. It didn't do anything. So why should we, Nigeria, go ahead and have a foreign military base in our own country?
Nigeria currently receives substantial foreign cooperation in its fight against security threats, achieving these without hosting any foreign bases. The government prioritized deepening these international partnerships, rendering foreign bases unnecessary. The security situation in West Africa will likely continue to influence this discussion as countries work together to contain terrorism. In Lagos for News Central, Ni Omoni.
The Nigerian Army has assured of its commitment to improving healthcare infrastructure in army formations and units across the country. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tarid Lagbaja, made this known during the commissioning of a state-of-the-art remodeled medical facility of the 401 Special Forces Brigade at the Jo Akahan Military Cantonment in Makurdi, the Benue State capital. News Central's Emmanuel Bagudu reports.
The commissioning of a remodeled health facility in one of the Army's formations in Benue State, north-central Nigeria. The Chief of Army Staff says this, among others, being embarked on by the Army, will bring relief to residents domiciled in the area and ease their burden.
I am delighted to be back, this time to inaugurate the remodeled and upgraded medical center, a testament to our commitment to enhancing the healthcare infrastructure in Nigerian Army barracks and cantonments. The intervention in our medical facilities is only one of our numerous efforts to upgrade our welfare facilities and line with the sound administration beam of my command philosophy. I believe support for the home front and a good welfare package are necessary to strengthen the moral component of fighting power.
The commander for Special Forces Command also noted that the medical facility will not only bring succor to the cantonment and its host community, saying its services will be open to all in need.
This transformation drive being witnessed in the Nigerian Army is in line with the Chief of Army Staff Command philosophy, which is to transform the Nigerian Army into a well-trained, equipped, highly motivated force towards achieving our constitutional responsibilities within a joint environment.
The Army says that this complements its social welfare drive and its non-kinetic approach to the war against insecurity. In Abuja for News Central, I am Emmanuel Bagudu.
Away from that, the Lagos State government will fully cover medical expenses of victims of the recent Ajeromi Ifelodun gas explosion. Now, Health Commissioner Professor Akin Abayomi made this known during a visit to the Bagada General Hospital's Burn and Trauma Unit. He also offered condolences to victims' families and guaranteed free top-tier medical care. News Central's Adeshawa Dushoga reports.
Following a gas explosion in Ajeromi Ifelodun area of Lagos that claimed 11 lives and injured 22, the state government has pledged its full support to victims and their families. Health Commissioner Professor Akin Abayomi visited survivors, announcing the state will cover all treatment costs.
We are here really concerned about the welfare and the survival of the patients. Out of 33 patients, 31 patients, we've lost about 11 of them so far. And those ones had a very extensive surface area burns, with the burns going right down to the entire skin level, what we call a third-degree burn. Those kinds of burns, when they are combined with inhalation injury from smoke, ultimately the outcomes are very, very poor.
Professor Abayomi emphasized efforts to prevent future incidents and ensure quality health care. The state also promised comprehensive assistance for trauma recovery.
We'll be looking at a combined effort and see how we can, on the one hand, manage patients better, but on the other hand, we also have to do a lot of public sensitization to see that these kinds of events can be prevented or minimized into the future.
Chairman of Ajeromi Felodun local government area, Fatai Ayola, who accompanied the health commissioner, urged the state to restrict gas plants in residential areas.
On a very serious note, we need to also appeal to Mr. Governor to give enough sensitization to the public on the best way to handle gas. A lot of people, a philosopher said, if you don't ask me, I know. But if you ask me, I don't know. A lot of people think they know how best to handle gas. But if you ask them some salient safety measures, they don't really know.
The incident also attracted attention from members of the state legislature, who urged relevant ministries, departments and agencies to enforce safety laws to protect lives and properties in Lagos State. In Lagos for News Central, Adeshewa Odushoga.
Following global and climate disasters around the world, it has become inevitable for governments and humanitarian groups for interventions in various ways. In line with Goal 2 of the UN SDG, including end hunger, achieve food security and improve nutrition, and promote sustainability or sustainable agriculture, a humanity group under the Ahmadiyya Muslim community says more needs to be done to assist the needy. The group, devoid of religious, ethnic, and other popular sentiments, says the world's poorest and most vulnerable people deserve attention to relieve suffering caused by natural disasters or human conflict and to strengthen people's capacity to help themselves and promote peace and understanding based upon mutual tolerance and respect. On food security, it says it has distributed seedlings to households to promote homestead farming, train individuals and families in best practices for homestead agriculture.
The vision of humanity first is actually to ensure that all human beings are able to live at least a minimum standard of living. And if you look at their mission in terms of what is the criteria? The criteria is to reach out to those who do not have and who do not have means of having. But because the two are different. If you pick the child of a rich person, he doesn't have, but he has a means of having. Dad, I need this, mom, I have this, and he will have it. If you pick the villagers, they don't have, their parents don't have, and they don't have a means of having. These are the kind of people that Humanity First looks for to assist.
We have what we call gift of sight. Under this gift of sight, we conduct surgery. We conduct especially these cataract surgeries. We do this on monthly basis. Okay, and on monthly basis, we spend about $4,000 on monthly basis just for surgery, cataract surgery. We do this mostly in Kano, but we do in other places. We have done in Abeokuta, we have done in other Ogun State and other places. That's one program. Then we have knowledge for life. Under this knowledge for life, we have schools, we have primary schools where we train children for free. We give them books, we give them uniform, we give them teacher. They don't pay school fees. The majority of the people who are beneficiaries of our program are non-Muslims, completely non-Muslims. Like you will have seen here today, for example, we supported somebody. He's not a Muslim, he's a Christian, but because his roof is blown by a rainstorm, we are giving him 1 million naira He's not a Muslim, and we have no business with anybody's religion. Humanity is humanity. You have blood in yourself, just like I have blood, whether you're a Muslim or you're a Christian. So we are helping humanity.
Coming up after the break, police arrest prominent lawyer critical of President Said. We'll bring you details after the break. Stay with us. The news continues in North Africa, where Tunisian police have stormed the building of the Deanship of Lawyers and arrested Sonia Damani, a lawyer known for her fierce criticism of President Kais Saied. Now, similarly, 2 journalists who witnessed the confrontation were reportedly arrested as well. The incident was the latest in a series of arrests and investigations targeting activists, journalists, and civil society groups critical of Saied and the government. The move reinforces opponents' fears of an increasingly authoritarian government ahead of presidential elections expected later this year. Damani was arrested after she said on a television program this week that Tunisia is a country where life is not pleasant. She was commenting on a speech by Saied, who said there was a conspiracy to push thousands of undocumented migrants from sub-Saharan countries to stay in Tunisia.
يقرر الدخول في إضراب عام جهوي وإيقاف العمل بجميع المحاكم تونس الكبرى. بداية من يوم الاثنين 13 ماي 2024 ويعلن بقائه في حالة انعقاد دائم للنظر في اتخاذ جميع الأشكال النضالية الأخرى على إثر اقتحام دار المحامي بتونس اليوم 11 ماي 2024 على الساعة 7:45 مساء من قبل العشرات من أعوان الأمن الملثمين وذلك باستعمال العنف واختطاف الزميلة الأستاذة سونيا الدهماني من داخل دار المحامي وحملها إلى جهة مجهولة وما رافقه من اعتداء على المحاميات والمحامين المتواجدين بالمكان. يطالب بإطلاق سراح الأستاذة سونيا الدهماني فورا ويعبر عن وقوفه التام ومساندته المطلقة لها.
In Central Africa, dozens of activists from Chadian Prime Minister Suksay Masra's party have been arrested. They were accused of forgery and using false documents during the presidential election. The news came from, that's after officials declared junta leader General Muhammad Idris Deby Itno the winner with 61.03% of the vote, and after Masra himself had claimed victory. N'Djamena prosecutor said 76 activists with Masra's Transformers Party had been taken into custody. The Electoral Code allows for the presence of candidates, delegates at voting stations, provided they have been accredited by the country's election agency, ANGE. Now, Vice President of the Transformers denounced accusations they had interfered in the voting process as ridiculous and fanciful. Burundi has accused its northern neighbor Rwanda of training and arming rebels blamed for twin grenade attacks that wounded 38 people on May 10th. Relations between the East African countries have often been tempestuous, and Rwanda has previously denied claims to back its rebels. Now, the Interior Ministry said Red Tabara insurgents accused of a string of attacks in Burundi threw a grenade at a packed bus stopped in the main city of Bujumbura at 7 p.m. on Friday. The Red Tabara emerged in 2011 and has a base in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, province of South Kivu. Burundi has repeatedly accused Rwanda of backing the rebels, a claim denied by the Rwandan government and Red Tabara. Still ahead, Georgia's protest controversial foreign influence bill. We'll bring you details after the break. Now, in other news from around the world, tens of thousands of Georgians have taken to the streets of the capital, Tbilisi, on Saturday evening to protest a controversial foreign influence bill backed by the government. Protesters marched to the capital, Europe Square, holding Georgian and EU flags, chanting "No to the Russian law." Now, the law would target civil society organizations and independent media that receive foreign funding. Opposition parties say the bill coined Russian law after Russia's passing of similar legislation in 2012 will be used by the government to clamp down on dissent. The U.S. had said the bill threatens free speech.
ჩემი მომავალი თაობის უპერსპექტივობის საწინდარი ამ კანონის მიღება. ამიტომ ვაპროტესტებ ჩემ შვილებთან ერთად, ვიცავ მათ მომავალს, ჩვენი გზა არის ევროპაში. ეს არ დაწყებულა ახლა, საუკუნეებია ამ გზას იკულევს და იკაფავს საქართველო და დღეს, როდესაც უკვე ფინიშის სწორზე ვართ, არანაირად არ დავიხებთ უკან.
ქართული ოცნება არის ქვეყნის მოღალატე პარტია. და არ უნდა იყოს ჩვენი ქვეყნის თავრობაში.
პირველ რიგში მომიყვანა აქ ჩემ სულისკვეთებამ და იმ ჟინვა, რომ საქართველოს კონდეს ევროპული მომავალი და ის ადამიანები, ვინც ამის წინააღმდეგ არიან, რაც შეიძლება მალე მოვაშოროთ ჩემს და ჩვენ სამშობლოს.
Protesters and police clashed during an anti-government rally calling for the release of hostages held in Gaza since the October 7th attacks outside the Defense Ministry headquarters in Tel Aviv. On Saturday, Israel hit parts of Gaza, including Rafah, where it expanded an evacuation order as the UN warned an outright invasion of the crowded city risked an epic disaster. Medics and witnesses reported strikes across the coastal territory, where the UN says humanitarian relief is blocked after Israeli troops defied international opposition and entered eastern Rafah this week. That effectively shut a key aid crossing and suspending traffic through another.
And I can't see them survive the attack of our military. And I can't see the Hamas release them if we are inside Rafah. So the only chance to bring them home is to stop the war, to sit down, and to make a hostage deal that's gonna release everybody.
I came here today, like we do every Saturday night, first of all to call the government to resign because October 7th was under its tenure and the government did not defend us. And then we're calling the government to sign a hostage deal right now. We heard Hamas agree to the terms and we need the government to sign and release 132 hostages that are still under a Hamas terrorist organization.
I'm sure that the motivation of Netanyahu is on itself interest. He wants to survive. Only this is the first and priority of Netanyahu. Because of this, he delay. He don't want to bring the war to the end.
In business, South Africa faces a looming power crisis due to deteriorating municipal infrastructure, prompting Electricity Minister to advocate for a shift towards alternative solutions. The country has experienced a 6% decrease in electricity demand in 2024 compared to 2023, attributed in part to increased rooftop solar adoption. Moreover, the return to service of 3 generating units at the Kusile power station, capable of generating 2,400 megawatts at peak capacity, offers hope for mitigating power shortages. This highlights the importance of diversifying energy sources and improving infrastructure resilience. A multifaceted strategy combining demand-side management with enhanced generation capacity is essential to address South Africa's energy challenges effectively. Nigerian government, represented by Minister of Works David Umahi, has initiated negotiations with the African Development Bank to secure funding for critical segments of Nigeria's coastal and trans-Saharan highways. Talks regarding potential financing occurred at the Minister's office in Abuja, involving a delegation from AFDB led by Mike Salau, the Director of Infrastructure and Urban Development, according to a statement on the ministry's website. Now, this move aligns with the federal government's strategy to bolster economic opportunities and facilitate transnational investments in line with the vision of the renewed Hope administration led by President Bola Tinubu. Minister Umahi emphasized the importance of these highways in providing enduring infrastructure and promoting industrialization across their routes. In order to provide transparency on its activities, Egypt's central bank has published a description of its auctioning procedures. In order to help banks and investors manage liquidity and promote government financing, the CBE holds auctions for both government securities and open market operations. The CBE conducts two kinds of deposit auctions in order to take up access or excess liquidity from banks. Bids are accepted at the main policy rate in a weekly format, with a fixed rate main operation taking place every Monday. Furthermore, the corridor-linked variable rate deposit. These auctions, which include sums and durations and open for bidding the following day, are announced on Tuesdays. When we come back after the break, sports news will continue. Stay with us. In the world of sports, Ella Onojuwewo touched the track at the SEC Outdoor Championship in Florida when she lined up for the women's 400 meters. Now, she went in as one of the favorites in her heat and absolutely lived up to that hype, storming to a huge personal best of 50.57 seconds to finish second and qualify for the final. Onojuwewo, who is just coming off a very successful outing at the World Relays, where she helped the Nigerian mixed 4x400 meter team set an African record, thus became the first Nigerian woman to break 51 seconds in the 400 meters since 2015. Her time also makes her the fastest Nigerian woman in over 2 decades, since Falilat Ogunkoya clocked 50.50 seconds in 2001 and immediately takes her up to 5th on the Nigerian all-time list. Prince Harry on Saturday played a seated volleyball match with Army veterans most wounded in battle against the country's Islamic insurgency. The Duke of Sussex arrived with his wife Meghan on Friday in the capital, Abuja, where they visited a school for an event on mental health, in a trip that also saw the prince meet wounded Nigerian soldiers in the northwest. At an officers' mess complex in Abuja, Harry's team, dressed in yellow, played off in an exhibition against the team led by Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, the country's top commander. Nigerian champions Rivers Hoopers has sealed the qualification ticket to the Basketball Africa League ball playoffs in Kigali, Rwanda. Now, the Kingsmen sealed the qualification tickets after they snatched it in overtime to secure a playoff spot with a 78-71 final score win over APR of Rwanda to record their 4th win in the Sahara Conference in Dakar, Senegal. The duo of Peter Lisemeka and Divine Eke were fantastic against APR to emerge as the top performers, as the former got 17 points, 19 rebounds, 5 assists and 3 blocks, while the latter got 18 points, 18 rebounds and 4 assists. Atalanta BC forward Ademola Lookman has been named the Europa League Player of the Week following his brilliant showing against Marseille. Lookman was the standout star of Atalanta as the Serie A club secured a historic first-ever European final with a semi-final triumph over Marseille on Thursday. The former Leicester City and RB Leipzig forward was in brilliant form as he scored the opening goal and provided the assist to the second goal as Atalanta romped to a 3-0 victory in the second leg of the semi-final showdown with the French giants. And that's all at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of our top stories. We told you that President Tinubu orders CBN to suspend cybersecurity levy implementation. We also told you that police arrest prominent lawyer critical of Tunisian president. Finally, you heard that Burundi accuses Rwanda of being responsible for Friday's twin blast. Send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. Do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Time channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Darshan Usman.